scary out there for a while, but we were okay. But still lots of cleanup everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How about you, Jason? Hi, Jason. Looks like some people don't have their audio. Okay. Sean Kelly is.
He's one of the consultants.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Him
Okay.
and
Okay.
John
I
and
just,
Kelsey are joining us. So if
okay.
we could move at the beginning of the agenda, move their report up to after the minutes, just so they can walk you guys through everything, so they're not here for the whole meeting, so we don't have to
Okay.
keep them.
Okay.
We can move, yeah, item E1 up.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Sean and Kelsey are both here, so it's good.
Okay.
Vivian Counselor is Judith or
Yeah, I don't see Judith or Wanda yet.
Wanda. Yeah.
And we're still missing. So we have
What do we have?
Barb's here and Grace and Jason. Bill Harvey's not going to be here.
Yeah.
Oh, Brenda Campbell's here too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking for John Williams. Okay. And Judith and Wanda. Okay.
I apologize. I don't know what I did with my voting cards. So I'm going to
Oh,
have
right.
to
You're right.
go thumbs up and down. I was looking desperately for them, but I have no idea where I put them last time.
Thank you for reminding me. Okay. I just pulled them out. Yeah. Okay. All right, Judith is the right time.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Hi. Craig, do we have enough for a quorum? Because I
Yeah,
wasn't
I
sure.
just counted 6, I think. So 1, 2,
Sorry,
3.
I had a pottery class.
Okay.
I had to leave my
Okay.
mugs.
Okay.
Four,
Sean, I have.
5.
Yes. Do I just give this to Craig to give to you? It's from the Fair Board.
From the Fair Board. Kelsey, how do you want those? It's actually Kelsey that will be accepting those.
Yeah,
I can't hear you hardly. Sorry.
any comments, whatever is easiest. If you have few of them, you can just take pictures of them and send them to us. But if there's a lot, too many to scan, then you can send them by mail or courier.
I'll give them to Craig.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right.
Okay. Good idea.
There you go. Problem solved. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm good
All
for
right.
then.
Okay, so we're live now. Cassie's let me know. So I guess we should get
Okay.
going.
So, okay, so I think we just lost Brenda. Oh no, Brenda's there. Okay, so we're okay to go then, Greg?
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
enough for quorum. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I am calling the meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order. I just wanted to let you know that Bill is unable to attend tonight, so I will be chairing the meeting. And I may end up calling on Grace to help me out, but thank you so much. Okay. Um, at this point in time, I want to know if there are any, sorry, is there anyone who needs to disclose pecuniary interests? Does anyone have anything to disclose at this point in time? No? Okay. Um, at this, delegations. Do we have any delegations at this time? So Craig, are we
We have
going?
We have one specific to the report from officials on
Okay.
the Coldwater Fairgrounds. So I just ask if that could be moved forward. The representatives, Sean and Kelsey from Plural, could talk on the designs that we have put forward.
Okay. Do we need approval for the agenda, or are we fine?
No, you're fine for the agenda. So yeah.
Okay, so then can we move forward? We'll move forward then with the delegation, which is Sean and Kelly. Sorry, Sean and Kelsey, pertaining to the Coldwater Fairgrounds Master Plan.
Yeah. So I'll just give a
Okay.
brief introduction. So Sean and Kelsey have been working with us on the fairgrounds design. We held an open house a few weeks ago, and we had about 30 individuals out to that. We've since put out a survey, which we're seeing upwards of 400 intakes on it, so which is great. I've asked Sean and Kelsey to come to the meeting tonight just to walk you through the concepts, so the committee can provide commentary to them on the three concepts we're providing. So I was going to ask Cassidy if once Sean and Kelsey are ready, Cassidy can pull up the drawings and you can walk them through. If that works, Sean, I'll leave it up to you now. So
Great. Thanks, Craig. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes,
I don't know. I've been having something wrong with my computer these days. When I get on these meetings, they say my volume's really low. So I'll speak extra loud.
We'll just
Welcome.
turn
Thank
you
you very much for having us in. As Craig says, we're a small outfit. We're based in the Lower Fergus area, if you know where that is, in center Wellington County area, a little distant from you, but we make our rounds and we get across the province and we do all kinds of things. So it's great to be up, certainly Severn Way, and working on a project as such with the Coldwater Fairgrounds. So what we thought, as Craig had suggested, we have three concepts. I'm here with my colleague Kelsey from the office. She'll take a few minutes, 2-3 minutes on each one of these, and present them, I guess. Just a quick overview and what's similar, what's different, perhaps. She'll tell us she has her plan on that, and then we can open up for input and questions, and be happy to gain some of that from the gang that's in the meeting tonight. So, Kelsey, you want to take it away from here?
Yeah, sounds good. If we could get a screen share of the first concept, that would be great. Perfect. Okay, so I'll take, as Sean said, 2 to 3 minutes to walk through each concept, and then we can kind of go over some questions. And you'll notice that as we move through concept 1 to 3, they offer sort of varying degrees of change and slowly introduce new and improved elements as we go along. So starting with concept 1, refresh and refine, focuses on keeping what works, making essential improvements, and adding key amenities like the splash pad. So each concept has a high-level legend that you'll see, the one with the heart, so that you can see at a glance what is existing and what will remain, what has been improved or updated, and then what elements are proposed and brand new to the site. So as you can see by the heart icon on this concept, many elements will remain as is. And then just a brief overview of the proposed additions for this plan would be number 2 is a new splash pad with an upgraded washroom facility. Number 4 highlights some tree planting for increased canopy cover on the site. Number 16 is a walking trail sort of in place where the outline of the existing track currently is. Number 18 is an off-leash dog area. And number 19 would be a new parking lot with an entrance from Community Center Drive to be able to access the Ball Diamond area and the recreation kind of hub in that lower corner of the site. So the main highlights for concept 1 would be that elements are rearranged and reoriented only as necessary to optimize the site and add some of those key amenities that the community is looking for. So the ball diamonds have been oriented the correct way, facing away from sun exposure. The toboggan hill has been relocated on site for improved vehicular access in that area, as well as improved sight lines through the site. And then it also has been strategically relocated to be in an area for spectating different sports and events. And then the track is slightly altered to still accommodate the truck and tractor pulls for the fair, but it improves pedestrian circulation and experience through the site. Okay, so that's concept one. Sean, I'm not sure if you had anything to add or anyone wanted to jump in there on concept one before we move on, but
I think the only thing I would add, I know it's high level, certainly from a graphic standpoint. We're zoomed right out so you can get the full appreciation of the grounds. But the way I look at these, and I quantify everything always in my mind. And with 10 existing elements, we have 5 proposed, 4 improved. So it kind of gives you an idea that pretty much nine of the elements are either new or improved. And as Kelsey had said, from a rearrangement, reorientation standpoint, and what we're really trying to do with this one, as the concept name is, refresh and refine, it's about optimizing the site as is. So I think Kelsey covered that quite well.
thank you. All right, so we can move on to concept two. So concept two is connect and play, and it enhances the recreational opportunities on site. And it also builds upon the changes from concept one. So you'll see a lot of the changes in concept one are still implemented in this plan. So I'll try not to repeat myself too much. But then there's a few more additions as well. So starting with number one, an improved main parking area, including a paved lot with painted lines to help with traffic flow and organization of the parked cars. Number two would be a new vehicular bridge for access from the parking lot rather than from Robinson Street there. And then number three are community gardens in a sunny location on the site. Number four demonstrates how the existing stream could be improved for stormwater management on site to accommodate higher water levels throughout the year. Number five, again, a new splash pad, but with an amenity building, which would service the splash pad and then have an updated washroom facility and a snack bar kind of all together in one building. Number eight is a proposed new outdoor rink. So that could be used for ball hockey in the summer months or even a pavilion and then an outdoor ice rink in the winter. And then number 19 is a multi-use space for setting up a sports field temporarily in the summer months, and then it can be transitioned to open space during the fall fair. So the main highlights of concept two would be increased opportunities for year-round outdoor recreation, improved and increased parking. It's not quite labeled, but that straight lane from the parking lot down to Community Center Drive has some additional parking there as well. And then optimized orientation and alignment of all the different elements on site. And then there's also a future storage or maintenance building, which is number 23 on the plan, that could be relocated on the site in the future as those existing sheds there are replaced over time. Okay, so that's it for concept two. Sean, did you have anything to add to this one as well, or could we move on?
Oh, Again, I think if I was quickly quantifying it, just so folks get an appreciation, this one probably has double if I do a quick count, I know there's 10 proposed elements and 10 improved elements. So double some of the gestures we had in concept one. and really retains 3 of the existing features. So a little more dramatic change from concept 1 to concept 2. But again, trying to enhance rec operations and make sure we have great connections back to the community. And as Kelsey was talking about, having some multi-use opportunity that's flexible is probably the highlight of this concept.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so we can move on to concept 3. Yeah, and then just to add to Sean's last point there too, the hearts in the legend on this plan, you'll notice that throughout all 3 concepts, the pole barn and the multi-sport court and the playground are all in the same spot in each plan. They'll be untouched. Okay, so concept 3, elevate and expand, fully optimizes the site and it creates zones for recreation and the fall fair. So the main proposed additions to this concept would be number 1, up there near the top of the plan is a pump track. So that would be located near the Utah trailhead. So you have some programming similarities there. And then number 18 would be a new walking trail system throughout the site, which creates different zones, highlighting the recreation areas, the ball diamond area, and then the fair activities. And it also offers a continuous walking loop on site, which can be transitioned into a skating loop in the winter as well. Yes, and then it includes some similar additions to concept 2, a little bit of overlap, just a bit of a different layout. So it also includes similar parking lot improvements, an additional vehicular bridge, a splash pad, community gardens, reoriented ball diamonds, and additional parking. And then I will also note in the, I guess, southeast corner of the site, all 3 concepts do have that future trail connection. So you'll have pedestrian access to the site there. Yeah. Okay, so that's concept 3. I guess we can take questions if there's any questions about any of the concepts.
Sorry, Sean and Kelsey, I just want to thank you so much for presenting these three concepts to us and giving us further explanation regarding each of the concepts. Just looking at these concepts, I'm looking at this and saying this is really, really exciting because it's going to allow the citizens of Severn to come here and use these year round. And there's so many more activities that they're going to be able to do. So this is really exciting. I'm excited about it. And again, thank you for presenting. I'm gonna open up questions to the rest of the group, and then I'll probably have some questions too. So does anyone have any questions or would like to make comments? Brenda? Brenda? You have to unmute.
Yeah, this computer is very slow and my internet is very slow, so sorry. And my voice is off. Again, I apologize. So I noticed on the first 2 concepts, there was a walking trail, but it wasn't called a skating trail as well. What's the difference between them that makes the third one also be able to be a skating trail, but the first 2 not?
I would say that each of the concepts would have that opportunity, but the third concept was designed, like the walking trail was designed in mind to be able to accommodate the skating loop in that it was continuous and it had those like undulating curves. But Sean, you may have something to add there as well.
Yeah, it's just a commitment of investment and what kind of infrastructure you want to put into it. We didn't want to put into all of them. Again, we're trying to explore options and get certainly input from the community. So we felt it fair to kind of, do what exactly happened right now, peak interest, ask that question. And, obviously through the process, if that's something that Brenda has highly desired in the community, that would come back to us and it would be something we would be recommending. But this time we wanted to say, yeah, you could have a walking loop or a walking trail, sure. But we can elevate that to a skating loop if that's the desire of the community, and bring that information back to Craig and his team for sure. But again, we show 3 concepts, and part of the approach is to kind of ensure we cover all the bases and not do everything repetitive on each one, just so folks can understand. And when these things are costed out and all that, it becomes a lot more clear that way. But we felt in concept 3 that was kind of be the longer term community investment one. It was more appropriate for that one. It's very organic as well. And I think we felt that was very it'd be very in keeping with certainly a winter use as well. So, but as Kelsey said, it could happen on all of them.
Right. Okay. That was just the only thing that I didn't quite catch. Thank you.
Is there other questions? Judith?
Okay, concept 1 and concept 2. I'm not sure about 3. You've got the what do you call it? The pole track, but you have nowhere. So you've got that circle up by number 8 on concept 1. The question will be, will it come up to 8 and start at that circle? Like, you've got to take into consideration where these tractors and trucks are going to put their equipment. That's just a thought. And the other one on that is the road that you're going to bring in off Community Center Drive by the storage barn. Okay, parking lot 19. It's going to be a parking lot, so there'll probably be lights on it, and there's homes right there. And no offense, people congregate in parking lots in Coldwater. And I think that could end up being a disturbance to the residential area. Just another thought of living here my whole life. I know certain things. And another thought I had, because I'm looking at the dog park, which is in concept 1 and 2, is the dog park is way over there in that corner, and then there's a walking path from Greenwood Landings that goes by there. Maybe the dog park might do better over by the trail where in concept 3 you have the pump track, because people walk on the trail anyway. And if you put the dog park right there, it would be there. And when events are on, you're not going to have dogs, because dogs aren't allowed at the fair or big events with animals coming in and out. So if you sort of took the dog park and put it up in that area where you had the pump track, then they have an area, it's already a walking trail, you can go in there, and it wouldn't be affected anybody when the events are on, because it's not just the fair, there could be other events. And it kind of keeps, no offense, it kind of keeps the dogs and the walking over in the walking trail area, and keeps the event and the kids playing areas over here. And that way it's also quite easy for people who want to get their dogs, they can park at the Joseph Street parking lot and then go there.
Yeah,
And I worry about the pump track being up by the trail with snowmobilers.
Right. And those are great comments, Judith. These are types of operational comments that are really helpful to us. You know your community better than us.
Yeah.
However, parking in parking lots and hanging out and congregating, unfortunately, is not unique to Coldwater.
No.
And we see that everywhere. And
Of course.
those are the types of things we'd have to mitigate and deal with. And detailed design as far as lighting and light pollution and those sort of things is more of a detailed design piece. But I know exactly where you're going. So I appreciate the comment.
And the other one I liked was when you moved the toboggan hill into the middle more so than stuck at the end, because that toboggan hill, when the fair's on or other events are on, people sit on it. So that's a perfect spot for people to sit instead of bleachers. Right. And if they want movie nights and everything, it's there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are good ones. I like those. I mean, there's lots of things I like. It's just when I look at it and hear what people have said to me, because I've had many meetings with many things. And people like things, but some of them don't like change, but I just look at it as efficiencies. And I think that tractor pull and the truck pull, I think you kind of caught it in concept 3, when you sort of came up the middle. But I also will have to tell you that my favorite one is concept 1, because as a person on council and a person living here and a taxpayer, it looks like something we can actually get some of these things done. The other ones are lovely, but will we be able to do a lot of that stuff? I'm not sure, but maybe we can do some of this stuff and then grab some things from concept 3 or 2 and put them in. And I really like the idea of paving the parking lot at the arena.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, that's a great comment. And our approach is what you do, you have several concepts, and hopefully at the end of the day, what we
Yeah.
get is a preferred plus
Yeah.
hybridization of it, pulling things from other concepts.
And I just want to tell you, I love all your ideas. I just foresee us sort of going,
Yep.
what you just said. And nicely, we have some people who are wanting to donate some money to this, so to do things. So that's always helpful. It will help us. But the dog park one, I really feel would be really good over there by that trail, where people walk anyway with their dogs on leads, and they can get right there, and it just sort of takes it out of that
Yeah.
sort of play event people area, because we all know, as much as we all love our dogs, I have a dog, I had a dog, you start to get 2 or 3 of them and they go out and they bark and carry on and people get upset, and that's also near homes too. But anyway, that's just a couple of things.
No, that's great, Judith. Thank you. Noted. Kelsey, did you have anything to add, or did you want to clarify any of that? Are you good?
I think I'm okay. Yeah. Thank you, Judith.
Okay, thank you, Judith. Do other people, anyone else, like to make comments or suggestions? Okay, I do have some comments that I wanted to to make. Can you just explain what exactly is a pump track? I don't know what it is.
It's oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I want to
There
hear what
is
you
one
think
at
it is.
Washago. What it is, and the one at Washago is paved. And so what they do is they pave it, and bikes go on it, or you're going on your scooter or your skateboard, and it's a trail. It goes up and down and around, and you pedal on it and go around. The one at Wasaga Beach is nice. It's just a dirt one. It's quite nice.
Okay.
And the kids, go on their bikes and they jump with it and they go down and around, and yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I definitely think that
I know
would
a
be
lot of
a
people
neat.
weren't sure what that was either. I
Yeah.
don't know why they just don't call it a bike track.
Some of us
Okay,
old
so
folks use it as well for mountain biking to
Yeah.
get your mountain biking skills
okay,
back.
so
if you need
how
to.
is it different than from the skate park? The skate park that we have right now is open structures, as this is more naturalized.
Yeah. So some skate parks, Cheryl, will permit scooters and bikes, but most are not designed for that.
Mhm.
It's purpose built for those typically. And what we do, we go into communities, we find kids are forcing it. So pump tracks are kind of I don't want to say a newer iteration, but certainly an item or an element that we're seeing in parks that are a little more desired, because you have better range of skill development starting at a younger age set. And it's anything wheeled pretty much that most kids do have. It's not exclusive to skateboards.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. You mentioned with the splash pad and amenity building. What exactly is the amenity building going to be used for? Is it directly associated with the splash pad, or is it a building that is sort of a storage building?
Kelsey, I want you to answer that if it's not
Yeah.
part of this splash pad.
Well, the idea would be that some of the servicing in the building would help to service the splash pad, some of the maintenance for that. But it could be a multi-purpose building essentially, which is why we gave it the name amenity building, because it could accommodate there could be a washroom in there, it could have a little snack bar, it could also have a little bit of storage as well. So again, a little bit more of a detailed design aspect.
Splash
Okay.
pads typically have a mechanical room of sorts,
Yeah.
if you want to call it that.
Okay.
And it
Right.
really depends on whether you go through a reciprocating type type of splash pad where you're reutilizing your water versus flow through. And those are
Oh.
discussions you will have going down the line a little further in detailed design, depending on what the community wants. But what we find, if you're going to use something that's a little more reciprocating, you will need a little larger mechanical space. Some people do vault them and put them in the ground. We like them above ground. We have better success, better maintenance, and operation with them. But Kelsey's right. You know, if you have the space, you can make them a little bigger. Then you can have, you know, mechanical / storage opportunity also. So it becomes an amenity, and you know,
Yeah.
and really as we, you know, as the community gets a little more detailed on what their needs are, that could define what kind of amenities really needed in that building. It may be purely mechanical at the end. It'll be a much smaller unit.
Okay. I think, thank you. With the naturalized stream in concept 3, are you going to be creating a naturalized stream, or is there already something that's sort of there? Because I don't remember, you know, when I was at the fair, I don't recall there being some, but maybe there, like, is there something already there?
So you can see on the plan kind of where number 5 is.
Mm-hmm.
Just that blue line that runs through the site is kind of like I guess you could call it a ditch
It's a municipal
or
drain.
Ditch.
creek or swale or something.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, so
So you're just pulling it from there. Okay.
yeah. So it would
Okay.
just be
Okay. Oh, right. You're right. I see it. There's a complete ditch all the way back
yeah,
through there. You're right. Yeah. Now that I think
yes.
about it,
So it
it's
would
right.
be
It's right along there. Yeah. Right
yeah,
along.
so the edges
It's already existing. Yeah. Right.
yeah, so it's existing,
Yeah.
but the edges would be more naturalized with plantings and
And that's what
that.
you're looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, one of the things I was going to mention is, so I mean, Judith would know more, and some of the other people, some of the other members, of the committee would. I'm, s- I'm still concerned about parking with concept 3 and just parking overall, because I've been hearing a lot on, I've been seeing a lot on Facebook and about people concerned about the parking in Coldwater. Will this suffice in terms of like the parking designs that you have in all of these? Would there be sufficient parking for people? That's my big concern.
I personally, oh, Judith, will you want to say something first?
Well, yeah, like I think the big we had a meeting about parking, and that's not
Mm-hmm.
the meeting you saw on whatever. We had a meeting about parking when events are on in Coldwater, and
Right.
so far our biggest issue, like we're fine for parking. I mean, when the community center has hockey and stuff, that lot gets filled. But when we have events in the summer, that community center parking lot for something like the duck race between the community center parking lot and some parking in the fairgrounds, people park in the side street. It's the fair that's the big one when you have 18,000 people coming to Coldwater. Now, I have heard a rumor from the fair board that they have spoken to Moonstone Mount St. Louis, and they're thinking of doing a shuttle back and forth from there,
Oh, really?
just
Okay.
like a butter tart one, just because last
Okay.
year was a nightmare. We would
Yeah.
never have got an ambulance or a fire truck, and that is a concern. So the events now that everybody has when they close the main street or any event, we now have specific things that make sure a fire truck and an ambulance can get in and those types of things. But it's the fair that's the big one. And that's a weekend of, oh my God, there's a ton of parking. The duck race gets a bit, but
Right.
with the duck race, they sort of come in around 10, hang around, and about 1:32 they all leave. And then you're finished, like a Santa Claus parade idea too. But we do need more parking. Yes, I will say
Yeah.
that we could always utilize more parking. And some of these concepts come up with that. And the good idea that I like and is part of too is the paving and the putting the lines in, because half the time it's
Mm-hmm.
you have to have somebody organizing it or people get blocked and then they just don't park properly.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Judith, for answering those questions for us, because that was the concern that I have. I'm also then looking at concept 3 and just picking up on something that you said, Judith, about emergency service vehicles getting in. So would an emergency vehicle be able to get in into that design with the way, like really quickly, or because I'm looking at the other two and we sort of still have the ring roads around.
Well, number 3 has a vehicle bridge, but they also
Okay.
can come in at Community Center Drive.
Oh, they can. Okay.
Yeah, and I think they can
Okay.
cross still at the pole barn.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And a lot of times when the fair's on, one of the fire trucks is in there.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
the
there's already,
ambulance. Yeah,
right.
but you're right. We
Right.
do need emergency vehicle in and out.
All right. Yeah, I'm just more concerned that, okay, we're looking at these concepts and we're looking at trying to utilize this area with more, looking at more. So more in terms of the summer, more in terms of the winter. So just trying to look at, you know, parking and emergency vehicles, and are we going to have the space available? So especially because the whole idea is to expand and use this throughout the year, not just in the summertime. So yeah, that's a concern that I have. Yeah.
Okay, and you know, just playing on what Cheryl has said through to Sean or Kelsey,
Mhm.
are these parking lots in these concepts going to be blocked off and only open? Or Craig, maybe? Like, are we going to leave it like we did now, or is it just something we have to talk about?
I would think like the request, like in the concepts, is obviously coming from requests from the ball groups to be closer to the ball diamonds, those parking. So they would probably be left open, just much like the current parking is right now, right? So I think having the backside come in the backside there
Yeah.
be left
Mhm.
open. You would have to leave it open because we wouldn't be able to manage that. So
No, and they're not near where the playground is.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the
Okay.
number one
Yeah.
complaint. So yeah, we
Yeah.
leave
Yeah.
that open. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Would other members, like, I think I saw someone. Jason, did you have your hand up? No. No, you're okay. Okay. Are there other questions or comments or suggestions? Grace.
Thank you. Each of the concepts are really terrific, and I've looked at them probably about 10 times, and each time I look at it, I think, oh, which one's better, or which could, can we cut and paste, and can we change it up? But I don't think we can, because you already have the 3 concepts. But I think they're great, and I'd like, I can't add anything, but I just want to say that it's great to be able to keep to make sure that the fall fair still has the elements, but in addition to that, it's nice to be able to expand and make sure that we use it year round. So I really like it. I do have one question. Where the walking track is, or trail, does that connect? Like I see it goes behind where the curling club is. Does that connect onto the trail behind the fire hall? Like, can it go that far, or does it concept end with what's at the fairgrounds?
Oh, right. Yeah.
On concept 3 here specifically.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the
so
walking
there's
there is a trailer.
yeah, there's a bit of a trail access there behind the curling club. And then we kind of just strategically chose one place. It's definitely doable to do it towards the fire station there, but we were kind of just limiting all the different access. Trying to narrow down, yeah.
Yeah, kind of a minor detail, but it's something to think
No,
about
you're
to
right,
link it
Grace.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There is
Yeah.
something there now. There's
Yeah,
a path that
there's-
goes up into that bush.
Yeah.
I've never been on that one, but
Yeah,
it's the blueprint for it. Then it's the starting point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think a great job, and it's going to be exciting to see how when it happens and the stages and what all how it goes at each of the stages. It'd be exciting to see. So good job.
This is a question that maybe Craig could answer, but just picking up on what Grace said around connecting to the trails down at the far end of the not at the opposite end from one down at the far end. is that trail going to connect with further trails that are being developed? I'm sorry, I'm not sure if there are trails down there at that end of the, or anywhere else. Is there areas where these trails can connect?
At the south end, you mean?
Yes, yeah.
Currently, no, it would connect to a sidewalk system through that new subdivision. So
Okay,
that would be your trail system. But that's as far as it would go. It would just go into that new subdivision to allow people access into the fairgrounds.
okay. So would there be possible, so going back to number one, where I know that there is a trail there because I parked there before when I went to the Witches Walk. Is there a possibility then of, like, I know you could walk along there and through the fire hall and then down the road where the home hardware is and towards the park area. Would the township down the road be looking at possibly developing that into trail and giving some kind of direction down the road?
I think as part of our master plan, we do have in there to do a trails study and a connectivity study
Oh, okay.
for everything. So I think as part of that, that would
Okay.
come out of that. So once we get to that, it's probably a year away from looking at starting that up and for the whole community once we get
Right.
through. And then, but it's identified in our master plan to have a trails master plan developed. So.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Are there other questions or suggestions from the committee? It doesn't look like it at this time. So I want to thank Sean and Kelsey for coming out to, like, for presenting this and answering our questions and considering our suggestions and asking for suggestions. We really appreciate this. Craig, what is the next direction? Do we need to pass a motion for accepting this, or what do we do now? Or Al?
You just pass a motion to accept my report, which
I can
basically
read the motion out if you'd like.
Okay.
So
Could
the
you please-
motion, yep, the motion reads that the presentation from Plural and Recreation Report number R25-007 dated April 8th, 2025 regarding the draft Coldwater Fairgrounds Master Plan concept designs be received for information.
Can somebody a motion?
I'll-
Grace, someone second it? Judith? And if you approve, just say yes. Show your approval.
Yeah.
Okay. 1-7. Okay. It's been approved. Thank you. And again, Kelsey and Sean, thank you so much for coming out and presenting and answering our questions. I'm really excited about this. So I'm looking at all the concepts and thinking, this is wonderful. This is great. This is going to add so much more to our community and to Coldwater and to Severn Township. I mean, it's definitely exciting. Just more than refreshing, elevating and expanding. So thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. We appreciate getting all the comments we can on this. It only makes it, fortifies it. So, we like to give the communities what they want. So it's important. If you haven't used the survey yet, do so. And collectively as an advisory committee, we appreciate the comments as well.
Okay, I just have one thing to do, another question, sorry.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so as you mentioned, they're still doing surveys. I forgot what day the survey's out because I already filled out my survey. When is this out? When is it open to?
This Friday. So
This Friday?
will
And
close,
then
yeah.
once the surveys come in, what are the next steps?
So we'll take all of the community input into account, and then I think, as Sean had mentioned earlier, we'll kind of look at those concepts, look at the feedback and the concepts, and kind of develop a hybrid concept to include in the master plan.
Okay, so then this could change, like even the concept 3 will still change then from when and gathering.
We'll move to a preferred concept based on the input we received from the
Okay.
community and direction from staff, and recommendations will be built off of that preferred concept. So
Okay. And then when do you anticipate the next, when the community will be presented with the preferred concept? Is it the community that's presented or is it the council that's presented with it?
Kelsey, do we have a date
Um,
yet for any of that?
We don't have a specific date. We'll be presenting to council, and then I believe it would be up to the project team to decide whether or not that gets presented to the public or when it gets presented to the public.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having us.
Okay. All right. Have a
Thanks,
nice
everyone.
evening.
See you
Bye-bye.
next time.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kelsey. Thanks, Sean.
Bye.
Thanks, Craig.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Just moving on to the next section, which is, I believe, Craig's report.
Yeah.
Thank
All right.
you.
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. So yeah, this report was written a bit before the ice storm, so I'll give an update on that too as I go through this. So for administration, I guess our fees and charges are approved. They are approved every 2 years by council. What you'll see in the fees this year is a 7% increased ice times, 10% ice tournament times, 3% to summer floor times at the arena, 3% to community hall rentals, and 5% to sports fields and diamonds. It's my understanding, and even through my evaluation of the fees, they're very low within the comparator market. So the previous staff had suggested the 7 and 10% increases for a few years, just to try and balance it out. So we maintain that. Just it will take a long time to move the needle to get to a better comparison. So as we move up, the intention is not to do 10% forever, but just move it closer until we're comfortable with the amount of revenue coming in. We're also continuing to work with Lakeland Holdings on the Charge On program. We're just setting up meetings. The ice storm set us back with the loss of power in a lot of areas. So we're just getting back to that within the next week or so to have a meeting with them and scope out the sites and figure out how many chargers can go in each location, which is Washego, the municipal office, and the Coldwater Arena.
Sorry.
That's all right. As we talked about, we have had our public open houses, and the survey is open till the 25th for the master plan for the Fairgrounds. We're happy to announce the parking pass program is up and going with the Township of Georgian Bay again. So that's great that we're doing that again this year. The ice was removed on April 7th. Our floor programs are starting up with roller derby, ball hockey, and pickleball commencing over the next few weeks. Both Bass Lake Woodlands and the Washego Exchange Center had great seasons in comparison to last year for our outdoor ice rinks. We were 7 weeks as compared to 3 days last year. So it was great. It was a long winter, but great for skating outside if you like doing that. So it was great to see. Thanks to the volunteers at Bass Lake, we couldn't put in that rink without them. So that was great of them to do that. Staff handled it in Washego, and both excellent sites. We're right now in the process of ordering new picnic tables, benches, garbage receptacles, and chairs for various parks. A lot of them, some we've had even some more damage from the ice storm on some of them, so we're ordering more. Bass Lake Woodlands, Utah Trails, Shoreline Park, Washego Centennial, all of them will get a variety of some of those implements the next month or two as we get supplies in. The flower baskets have been ordered for the upcoming seasons for our downtowns in Washego and Coldwater, so those will be in the month of May. And we've seen new Township of Severn branded signage has been installed at all of our boat launches based on the classifications that were laid out in our master plan of breaking down into 3 classifications, whether it's large boat, small boat, lots with parking, lots without. The trails snowmobile season's obviously concluded now. We received a grant for $15,000 from the Trans-Canada Trail to install a shade shelter. We were hoping the county would chip in on that. They have declined that as of right now. We're hoping we get some more money out of them next year. It's just based on they've changed up their programs a bit. So on when they put out grants, and we have to finish our other projects first, which is a new thing from the past. So we're still working on our trail signage program, which is holding that up. So once we get that finished, we'll apply to get back in the loop with that and hopefully get the money then to install that. That ties in the next point about our kiosks, which are we're hoping on the trail will be installed later in the spring. It's a bit difficult to get down the trail right now, so I'll expand on that in a little bit. Programs and rentals, you can see there we have our a lot of the same programs, our beginner yoga or watercolor courses, Zumba dance fit, intermediate watercolor. We have a new youth program for art, Tiny Fun Art, and yoga for the resilient aging. Both programs, all these programs are either at Washago or Coldwater. And we have put those up for registration, which is currently ongoing right now. Programs, because of the ice storm, have been pushed back a little bit, just due to everything that went on. So they'll be starting in a few weeks. And then lastly, Stephanie Van Leuven is no longer with the Township of Severn. We wish her luck, and we've started a new recruiting process. So, which you should see a posting come out the next week for that. So get back on track. So we have staff chipping in from all over with the program bookings, working with the program providers, and just making sure everything keeps going and getting ready for the upcoming pickleball season, which is going to be upon us soon. So the newest thing coming out of all this is talk about the ice storm. So as everybody knows, we got hit pretty hard with the ice storm, specifically to Parks and Recreation. We converted the Washago Community Center and the Coldwater Community Center into warming areas for a few days for the ice storm. We had better uptake at the Washago Community Center, where we provided some food and ability for people to fill up with water and come in and get warm, charge their phones and that. And then in Coldwater Foodland, it actually supplied some food to us too, to distribute some water. So that was great. That we diverted a lot of our resources as the township declared a state of emergency. So they were internally in the recreation department, our resources were diverted to those centers to provide support. The parks themselves are in a varying degree of upheaval from the amount of trees, depending on how many trees are in each park. Parks like Marchmount was hit pretty hard with a lot of trees down along the trail system in there in the wooded area. Past like Woodlands, a lot of trees dropped on the playground structure. Ian Crichton Park, we had trees fall out of the park into residents' yards around the trail system in there and around the playground structure. Shoreline Park, we had very large willows in there that just split and you can't even access that park right now. Hedgemere Boat Launch, a lot of trees along the parking area came down, and at the launch itself, some willows collapsed over. Washago Centennial Park, a lot of trees, a lot of hangers in there. We've had to chain off that park right now just because people are getting in there and walking around where there's a lot of hanging branches that we're dealing with. So due to the fact, what else am I saying? Coldwater Fairgrounds, some trees down there, and then the water levels rose in the river, which then flooded the fairgrounds, and the debris floated all over the fairgrounds. So staff has begun cleaning it up, and then the flood came in within one day, and it looked like a small lake out there, and resided very quickly too, which was good. But it was a lot of water that came into the fairgrounds. And then the Utah Trail is 30 kilometers long, as everybody knows, and full of trees, and we haven't even been able to access all the way down it at this point. So it's currently blocked off. We've closed all our parks and our trails right now, but we've developed a plan where we're working on priority parks. So as of this weekend, Marchmount was cleaned up. A lot of the resources for tree cutting companies are diverted to the roads and hydro through this emergency. So parks are at the end of getting to the tree companies. So we were fortunate that one of our companies that we use does work for us on weekends. So they're doing roads work during the week, and then they've committed to helping us on weekends. So this weekend they cleaned up Marchmount. We've had tree work begun in Ian Crichton Park too, as of today. The Aurelia Snowmobile Club has been gracious enough to volunteer to help starting to clean up the trail for us. So they're organizing crews. We're working with them and providing funding for excavators to get in there because our staff complement just can't handle all this and maintain regular operations. So
Yeah.
we've targeted areas which we know will be high use for the coming summer right away, like Wishago Centennial, our grass cutting contractor. Telfer is in there cleaning that up for us. So we can get that back up and running as quickly as possible as people want back in the dog park, and we want to get people back in that park. Marchmount's cleaned up, which is great because we're here minor ball. We'll probably want to use the ball diamonds a bit there, so we're getting that's ready. We're targeting Hedgemere boat launch to be ready for the May long weekend, so we can get that cleaned up. So all these things we're sort of targeting towards the May long weekend. We also had all our netting around the Wishago ice pad come down in the ice storm. It all snapped all the ties off, so we have to get that back up before the pickleball season starts. So a lot of work. We estimate a few months to get everything back online. Like Shoreline will be at the end of the priorities because it's not a highly used park. And then Timberline Park didn't have a lot of damage to it, so our staff are gonna be able to get in there. So we should get that in a few weeks too. There was just trees. A lot of it falls out along the sides of the park. We have a lot of woodlands and stuff, which are buffers and naturalized areas where a lot of trees have fallen out of those that we have to clear up. So we'll get there, but yeah, the damage was immense in some areas. We're just bit by bit identifying where we need to go, and then at this point, the snowmobile club's going to relay information back to us just because they'll be able to start working their crews down the trail and actually how bad it is because we can't get our vehicles down it in some spots. So yeah, and it's 30 kilometers long, so it's going to be a bit. So the Coldwater itself, downtown, like it wasn't hit as hard. So like Village Green is already cleaned up. We cleaned up that for the Easter egg hunt. That wasn't, we only had a couple branches down there, but it's just the other areas that have just been hit pretty hard. So we're gonna get there and get the parks back up and going. In Bass Lake Woodlands, when the trees fell on the playground equipment, we still have to inspect it for damage. There was some picnic tables, metal picnic tables that were folded over and dented by the trees coming down on them. And we also have our porta potty program coming too, so we're trying to get them cleaned up because sometimes trees are down where porta potties used to go, and so trying to figure everything out and everything. The public's been fairly good with some of the park closures. There's only a few issues that we've had with some of the residents not being too happy about not being allowed into the parks, but it's just more out of safety, just with hanging branches and that we just don't want them falling on people. So signage was ordered and put up in all the parks saying parks are closed. We're hoping people respect that. So the majority do. So, but it'll be a bit of time, but yeah, so it was a lot. So
Yeah, I can imagine, Craig. Just the amount of damage. I mean, driving around today, my husband and I were driving around the area today, and we just couldn't believe the number of trees that were down. But we really, really appreciate the township and what they are doing in terms of trying to get things back online, and the recreation department and what you guys are doing to try to get parks back up online and clean up parks and just going around the parks and seeing how safe they are and whether or not they even are safe for people. And I mean, that's huge. We want to make sure that the parks that they go into are the kids are utilizing, the parents and all the citizens are utilizing are safe. So we very much appreciate it. I know I went by the McLean dock today, and it looked really good. Like I don't think there was much there, but I also want to say too that I've been really impressed with all the signage that's up there. Like the one at McLean Dock, it's really nice, and we saw the Thesserton, the Matchadash one at the one at the fire station. So these signs are really looking great. And again, I want to thank you for your report today and everything that you're doing. I'm now going to open it up to members. Do you have questions? Judith?
Craig,
you
do
can't
we
hear.
have a volunteer thank you certificates that we send out to them?
That's a good question. We can create one for sure. Yeah.
I think we should,
Oh,
because
yeah.
those people who help with the volunteers that help with the rinks and all those other things, and I mean even the snowmobile club helping us out, we
Yeah.
should come up with some type of a thank you for volunteering and helping us. Like I didn't dawn on me till you said that, because
Yeah.
we haven't had really good winters where we had a lot of people at our
No, like last year was 3 days. I don't even know if, I don't even think they didn't even get past Lake Evan going last year.
But
So
if we could maybe come up with something like that.
yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
thanks.
Yep.
I think it's always good to thank people who volunteer.
It is. You want to keep them.
That's right.
Thank you. Other members would like to have questions, comments?
I do. I don't know if I'm on your screen, Cheryl. It's Wanda.
Yes, you are.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi.
Hi.
Thanks. So thanks, Craig. That was yeah, a lot of reporting to do, but it's all good. I did see the sign at the boat launch at Hedgemere Landing when I was on my walk last week or the week before, and I thought, I don't think I've seen that sign before. So that's really good. And you said that there are 3 sizes, I think, of signs for boat launches, or
Yeah.
can you tell me a little bit more about that? And is it or will it be on the website? I just am curious. I haven't had any questions at all, but there was a lot of good information on that sign.
Yeah, the communication staff, they're developing wording to go up on the website. This is part of it. We've had some inquiries around the Sewell's boat launch, just on because it's classified as a small craft launch. Same with Hedgemere, just with smaller boats like tin cans and things like that, just because of the shallow nature of the water. And I think with Sewell's, people were used to non-motorized boats officially not being allowed in there, but they were going in there anyways. And I think through the master plan study, that must have been determined. I wasn't here for that, but it was classified as a small craft launch, including small boats. So it all depends on the size of the boat, which the launches are classified as. So there's large boats, like the Washego boat launch can handle larger boats. Same with up in Port Severn. So you can launch that, and some are classified as with parking. That's really the main thing, is the size of the boat and whether the launch has parking or not. So
Okay.
whereas Sewell's doesn't have parking in the area, it's just on the road, whereas Hedgemere has a few parking lanes. Washego has all kinds of parking. So
Yeah.
that's what they're based on. So out of the master plan. So that's what staff developed this new signage. The signage also promotes the paddling routes through Lake Couchiching and up the Severn River. So as recreational opportunities. So we thought it was a good way, and it ties in with the signage in the county too. So it's they look great. So all kinds of information there. So, and really stand out for people. So
the one I saw looked really, really great. So just my second question that I have for you, and boat launch. Well, it's not even a boat launch. I remember when I started as a counselor 2 years ago. So on the side of Couchiching, the strip that I'm on, there are a lot of water access points between homes. So they're not boat launches, and they're not anything except there's strips of land, maybe 4 or 6 feet wide. They're all kind of different. Some are probably even half a lot wide. Is that something this committee will ever be thinking about? I know we had a discussion a few years ago, and honestly, I don't remember if it was before you came on, Craig. It hasn't been recently at all, but it's always been on my radar, as far as, is there a plan for those? Is there signage going to go on those or not? Right now, they're just, a lot of people use them and head to the lake, but they're really not anything, I guess, a trail or something.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything in the master plan identifying any of that. Like if you're talking like Goldstein or along there, like, there's road allowances, which
Yes, I
run
think
down.
that's what they're called. I see Judith nodding. Yeah, like at the end of night, there's a big one that
Yeah.
skidooers will use.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Further south off night, there's one, it's got a like wooden fences on either side and it
Okay.
leads down to the water. And kids go swimming and playing in the water. You can go swimming from there. They're really good to have. I just didn't know if there was a name for them or
Yeah, like larger ones are road allowances. I've worked in other communities where not all of them are road allowances. Some are municipally owned property that shoots through ones, and I'm not aware of ones like that in Severn, but I haven't really looked into it either. So,
all right.
but those were used in other communities for water access points. So, and in some cases in those communities, like people didn't know about them or they were taken over by the residents and disappeared over time. But the road allowances, yeah, there isn't any talk of anything like that in the master plan to deal with them, but it is something like in talking just for information gathering for myself when I saw them and asked staff about them, like, oh yeah, people launch canoes and stuff down there. Like Goldstein has blocks blocking it off, and so you can't get any vehicles down there. But um, there's at some point there probably should be some kind of signage like recreation area or road allowance. Like I've seen that in other communities where these road allowances are recreation areas where people can go off swimming and stuff, but you can't like camp or have a fire or put a dock off of it or anything like that. Or so, but they're just mainly used for tourists or residents in the area who don't have water access to go down and launch a kayak or canoe, right? So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Wanda. Craig, I have another question. I'm with these new signs that are at the boat launch. Would
Mhm.
it be possible for the township to post those signs on their Instagram and Facebook pages so that people can people can see that hey, these now exist and this helps and yeah, that they exist
Yeah.
and it gives them information.
Yeah, I know one post has gone out already on them.
Okay.
I can talk to communication staff about it. Like a
Okay.
lot of our posting is just getting back on track now. With even our
Mhm.
recreation roads, everything took a back burner to the emergency. So it was
Right.
our rec programs were only promoted out the end of last week, which was weeks behind due to everything going on. So they're getting communications getting back on track to normalcy, I guess, from all the postings and the emergency. So I can definitely
Right.
talk to them about that. The idea is
Okay.
get some stuff on the website just for pictures and wording so people can see what it's about and see
Right.
because
And with the beginning,
yeah,
like May 24th weekend coming up, we're going to see
yeah,
lots of people using those waterways. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, and making sure that people are doing it safely.
yeah.
I do have another question too. Have you heard anything more about grants for the West Shore property yet?
Uh, do you turn? No, I haven't heard anything yet. I assume
Okay.
we just went through a provincial election. We're hoping something comes out right now. We're in a federal election, so everything's on hold there too. With
Oh,
the
okay.
like one
Right.
grant was provincial, one was federal.
Okay.
So we're sort of in the wait and see
Let's see what
what
happens.
happens now. There is a push though for recreation infrastructure from the Ontario Recreation Facilities Association and Parks and Rec Ontario, just
Okay.
because, and even in our case too, like money, whether it happens sooner or later, but money towards aging rec facilities too. So that's a
Right.
large concern in Ontario. So we are
Yeah.
seeing our agencies that we're members of pushing the government too, but we're hoping these grants, they make an announcement. We'll see what happens at the federal election and see if there's money or not.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay. All right, thank you. Other questions, concerns, comments? Judith?
Yeah, through the chair to Craig. Craig, how are we for staffing? Are we up to the complement for the summer? Except for the one?
No, we're down one. We lost one of our seasonal operators. They took a full-time job in Georgina, which
Okay.
great for them, unfortunate for us. So we're actually doing interviews on Friday
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
for a replacement. So
Hmm.
hopefully that'll get us back up to complement for the summer. So
And further to Cheryl, the West Shore Community Center,
Mhm.
this ice storm opened eyes that we need an emergency center. And that was part of that plan. That's what we
Yeah.
had wanted for it. So I'm hoping our MPP, who is the chief kahuna of
Mhm.
emergency preparedness, keeps us in mind when we look at it.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
when you stop and think how close Gravenhurst was to us just with the snowstorm and with the climate change it is, and we're on that lake effect thing, like you know, we need something besides we
Yeah.
have Coldwater, but I mean that end has, I mean even the Romera people were coming to Washago to the community center there because there's nothing at that end for them.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we don't mind sharing. We welcome them, but we
no,
all
it
have to
was,
work together on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was great they came in. Yeah, it definitely, like, that was part of our pitch to the Minister of Sport and Minister Lumsden at the time, was
Yeah.
we didn't have a emergency center, and that's definitely needed. Like, if we keep getting these kind of
Well,
intense
this winter,
weather
two of
patterns,
them. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
it's,
So we
we
can
need,
only do
Yeah.
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was in our grant application, all that kind of
Yeah.
wording that we needed it. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
So hopefully, well, thank you. Any other questions, concerns? No? Okay, can you, I believe we need a motion now, or a motion needs to be presented?
Yep. So the motion is that items D.1 through D.2 be received for information.
Okay, do we have someone to move the motion?
Yes.
Barb, and someone to second it? Brenda? And and is it approved? Oh, sorry, you got the, okay, okay, yes, it's approved. Thank you. Moving on to correspondence for information. I don't believe we have any.
No,
Is that true? Okay.
that's true.
Correspondence for direction. Is there anything that way? No?
No, no.
No. Okay. And now for council, the council representatives, Judith and Wanda. Judith, you want to go first from council? Council information, council update?
Well, the biggest thing we had was the ice storm.
Okay.
The only other one we are getting speed enforcement, automated speed enforcement. So it will be in Coldwater on Coldwater Road and the end River Street. It will be in Washago. It will be at the schools in Coldwater, Marchmount, and West Shore. So that should help with some of our speeding issues we've had. We did some bylaw and some property standard updates. We're getting ready to do a ward boundary. There is a meeting tonight, but I can't be in two places at once, so I didn't go to it. Yeah, and then we have our master plan, rec plan for the fairgrounds. And all our road proposals went out and came back in, and nicely they came in under. So, and we're finding that at
That's
the
good.
county, the same thing. A lot of them came in under, so we're doing a couple of different roads at the county because we can pick up on them. So, well, that's good, but unfortunately, I think it's sad because I think construction and those types of people aren't busy with the economy the way it is. So, you know, we're all just sort of floundering through and doing our thing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Judith. Wanda.
So for my updates, I same thing about the ice storm. We had an event planned in West Shore, an Easter egg hunt that we canceled, and that was because the parks were closed, and it was fine. Everybody was actually a bit relieved. I think we were all just still trying to get ourselves back into some kind of normal. So just from a culture and rec perspective, we'll be using Timberline going forward for at least 3 more events this year. The West Shore Events Committee did get a $3,000 grant from the township this year. I'm on that committee, so we will do something else that's creative for the community in lieu of Easter. So I think that's the main thing. I also sit on the Aurelia Public Library Board, as you I believe all know, Severn Township residents can get library cards and have full signing privileges, etc. there. So together with the Severn Library, I think we're really well covered as far as some really cool programming, etc., that happens at the libraries and complements what we offer with Parks and Rec. And yeah, just a shout out, Craig, I was really happy to see the events. Washego's much closer for me than Coldwater, so events, I mean programs. The Zumba and the 2 yoga programs. So I think that's really awesome. And just a confirmation, there won't be any children's summer programming this summer, right? In the township, like day programs for, people are already starting to ask.
Yeah. So with our staffing change, I've been actually had a meeting today with Trillium Foundation over the grant we received for it. So we're extending it to next year. Just it'd be impossible at this point by the time we get through the recruitment process to have a safe camp. And that was our major concern, is having a safe camp. So it just wouldn't be possible by the time you'd be the end of May by the time you get somebody here. And then that gives only a few weeks before school's out. So Trillium's been really receptive to that for us. So been talking with them. So we're going to plan for next year, and then like plan lead up. I'm hoping to have lead up things like camp at Christmas, camp on Family Day, March break camp to run into that to generate way more interest. So, yeah.
Oh, that's good. That was the other question. So totally understand about this summer. And I think most of the younger parents have already booked, like in Aurelia and other places. So they're covered. But then the question was about, what about Christmas break? What about March break? And will that be part of the programming that you'll be offering as far as school age programs? Okay.
Yeah, that's the intention once we get somebody in place. So Stephanie had some of the things in through information I gave her on policies and stuff from cancer I had run before. So the groundwork is partially there. So, but there should be enough time from if somebody's hired in May to get to Christmas. So to have a camp going. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Wanda, thank you so much. And I just wanted to pick up on something you said, Wanda, about the library. I noticed that the Port Severn Library has a few authors coming in, like Maureen Jennings, and I forget the other two that I saw posted on Facebook. So that's pretty neat. The person who wrote Murdoch Mysteries. So that's neat that they're bringing in these wonderful authors. Thank you. At this point in time, I don't think that there's anything else. I'm gonna go turn to Grace and Judith. Is there anything else that I need to be doing?
Well, we do have to have a motion to receive the council rep.
Okay, all right, thank you. Can we have a motion then to receive the updates from council?
Certainly. So the motion reads that the council representative update be received for information.
Can someone move it? Move the motion? Brenda, and someone second it? Grace? And do we all in favor? Thank you. It's passed. Now I believe we need a motion now to adjourn.
Oh.
Is that correct? Right. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you, Grace. Okay. Okay.
So the motion will read that this meeting adjourn at 8:17 p.m.
Okay, someone to move the motion. Sorry, Judith, someone to second it? Jason, and all in favor? And it's in favor, so the meeting is now closed. And I just want to thank everyone